And with that, we are on to our next amazing, transformative speaker. Welcome, Eldonna Fernandez. I am so excited to have you here with us today on today's WEN Talk. I can't wait.
I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. And here's the stage for you.
All right. Thank you. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. And I'll give you a little background about me. I'm going to teach you a little bit today about how to think like a negotiator. I think we'll cover 5 strategies, but I always weave some other ones in. I'm a retired Air Force Master Sergeant. I was in the military for 23 years as a contract specialist, manager, and negotiator, and worked for defense contractors. As a matter of fact, I'm working as well now for a defense contractor, doing contracts, subcontracts management, contracts negotiation, teaching negotiation. And I love to train and help people become better negotiators. I also work with women in Kenya in poverty with my Baskets and Beads project to help them to create micro enterprises and go from poverty to prosperity. All right, let's talk about negotiation. Salary.com did a survey in the early 2000s, I think, maybe around 2010, and found out that out of everybody that they surveyed, they surveyed 2,000 people, 87% of those that they surveyed said that they were fearful or hesitant for negotiation. So that means a large amount of people fear negotiation. And what I found in training on negotiation, speaking on negotiation, doing negotiation, helping other people in their negotiations is that people may not know how to go about it. So what I'm going to share with you today, I hope will help you. I know will help you create a better strategy for negotiation, not only in business, but in everyday life, in your personal life. And even if you have children, I always say negotiation happens whether you're negotiating a multi-million-dollar deal, how to get your kids to do their homework, or where to meet for dinner. And when you think like a negotiator, you want your outcomes to create win-win results. What does that mean, actually? Well, what that means is you're going to give up something in the negotiation. I'm going to give up something in the negotiation. And as long as at the end of the agreement, when we shake hands and ink the deal, make sure you get it in writing that you both are satisfied with the outcome, that is a win-win result. And that's what you want to create in your negotiation. And I will just make a little comment about Rita, the last speaker. Rita, I love tea. Also, I'm a tea fanatic. I have all different kinds of tea. And as a matter of fact, I live in Southern California in Irvine and Orange County. And for us, it's freezing here. Okay. It's been in the 40s in the morning. Now, I know some people who are listening are thinking, oh my gosh, that's light jacket weather. But for us here in California, that's parka weather, gloves and hats and scarves. And we had a lot of rain, which doesn't usually happen either. And then it's turned cold. And I'm really enjoying my tea. All right, let's jump into negotiation. I often get asked about what's the first thing you need to do to prepare for a negotiation? Well, the first thing that you need to do, the first thing that I need to do is own my power. Say that out loud. Own my power. And that's not really a buzzword, although it's or a buzz phrase. It sounds like a buzz phrase, maybe. Own my power. What exactly does that mean? Well, what that means is you have to stand in your power. And I liked earlier what Corrine was saying about gratitude is power. That's a good way to start out, is to be grateful for where you are. But also you need to prepare, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, that you are standing in the power position, both mentally and in your backup data, because if you're not, the other side will see it, sense it, and take advantage of it. And you don't want that. You want to be in the power position, showing up where the other side is like, oh, okay, this person's prepared. They know what they're talking about. I'm not going to basically steamroller that person. I've had people attempt to do that to me, especially in the military, which was interesting. I have plenty of stories of how people thought they were going to steamroller me because I was this tiny military person, but I was a master sergeant and I walked and talked the talk and I knew my stuff and people didn't push me around. But that's something where you need to start. You need to start with confidence in your position. Well, how do you do that? Well, that's our next strategy number 2, which is to prepare in advance. Prepare in advance. The time to prepare for the negotiation is not when you are standing face to face with somebody on the phone, on a video call or your last email, you have to prepare in advance. And that means before you even start to think about the negotiation, maybe you've received an offer. Now, if it may be a contract or a service request or an offer to do something, it's simply an offer. You can either reject it, accept it, or make a counteroffer. During the preparation phase is where you decide where your walk away point will be and whether or not you're going to walk away. For instance, I'm in my temporary studio. You see some beads behind me. I'm doing a live tonight. So I have my temporary studio set up and ready to go for that, for my baskets and beads project. And it's interesting because I'm in my home office. If I close this, you'd see my living room. You might hear my dog bark if somebody walks by and breathes close to my place. I have a Belgian Malinois Shepherd, and she lets me know when somebody's out there. Great protection mechanism, but not so great for doing video. Well, because I have made some goals at the end of the year of what I wanted to do to move that business forward, I made a decision first of all, I made a decision what my word was for the year, which some people may choose a word. My word is risk. And part of that risk is stepping out in faith and taking a risk to take a step to move the business forward out of the hobby level. We were starting to get there prior to COVID, and then COVID caused some issues like it did for everybody. But in doing that, I have a warehouse where my products are, and I decided I wanted to move into an office space where I could set up a studio like this and do my trainings if I had any trainings to do, or do my lives where I didn't have to set up and break down when I'm doing this. I do my Swahili Sunday that I do on Sunday. I do it on the couch because it's more of a relaxed environment, but I need a studio and a space to set up for an actual shipping location. And I was looking around. Now I'm in, like I said, I'm in Orange County, California. Everything here is expensive. And I had a budget of what I wanted. The storage where I have things has gone up 20% again. I haven't even been in there 2 years. It's gone up 40%. And I thought, this is ridiculous. And I have another storage where my negotiation training materials and things are. And I thought combining those, I could go a little bit higher. And I started looking, and I found a place, and then come to find out they had a place that had a warehouse attached to it, which was a little bit more money. But everything else I found around other than that was a whole lot more. I've looked and looked and looked. There are not many. I need something on the ground floor because of the fact I do pop-up events and I need to be able to go in and out. There's a lot of office space on second, third, fourth, fifth, eighth floors. Can't do that. That won't work. So that limited me. And I found a space, and I got the offer, and I made a decision because of everything I've looked at, I made a decision prior to going into the negotiation and making my counteroffer that I was not going to walk away from this. I did some research. I talked to a couple of the other tenants. They were saying the same thing. It's the best deal in town for what the space is. Probably won't find a better deal. And I actually verified the facts on that, which is another strategy, verify the facts. And I found that to be true. Now, I could have maybe gone 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. But if you live in the Southern California area, you have to determine how you're going to get places by how long it takes you in traffic. And I didn't need to have a possibility where traffic could take me an hour to get to and from. I needed it someplace close. So I was limited to my resources. Got the offer, made a counteroffer. I counteroffered on the rent. I counteroffered on the cost of the sign. I counteroffered that they put in an air conditioning unit. And they came back with, no, rent is this. We're not cutting you any slack on the sign, and we're not installing an air conditioner unit. What we're going to do is give you some carpet and paint the building. And I thought, the carpet's trashed and the thing needs to be painted anyway. You're going to take that out of the deposit of the last tenant. I wasn't born yesterday. I was born, but not yesterday. And I attempted to go back and forth, but it was going through a management company. I think if I might have been able to see them face to face, I might have had a different outcome, but they were hard over. And I had the choice. Was I going to walk away, or was I going to take it? Well, I had made the decision prior to that I was not going to walk away from it, even if they didn't budge. I was a little upset that they didn't budge because I'm a negotiator and I like to get something at least for my negotiation effort, but I didn't get anything. I got the place, and I'm happy that I got the place, and I had to accept it and go forward with that. But the important part about that is, why do you have to prepare in advance? You have to prepare in advance because you have that negotiation with yourself where the walk away point is. You know where you're going to walk away, how far you're willing to go to not get yourself in trouble. You don't want to get into the negotiation, get in an emotional state and be like, oh, I really want this, and agree to something that you're not going to be able to get out of, or you're not going to be able to handle. That's why you make the preparation when you're not in an emotional state. Another negotiation strategy is leave emotion out. That's why you do it during the preparation phase. You have that negotiation with yourself. You prepare in advance. When you go into the negotiation, you know what things you're willing to give and what things you're not willing to give. I was willing to go at it anyway. I made an advance, and because rents, there's not a lot of empty space around right now, other than in the storage. Everybody's leaving that because it's so much money. But so I didn't have a lot of leverage. I tried to leverage my veteran status. They didn't care about that. So it was accept it or reject it and walk away. And I decided to accept it. So we'll be moving into, I'm just got the lease actually yesterday. I have to review that and make sure that everything that they've agreed to is in there, including the fact that they have internet is included with it, which is good. And obviously it's got electricity and such. I can set up a big shipping area, and I'll be able to handle all that. And I'll be able to do my lives from a regular studio versus the in-home studio. And in-home studio is fine for, I do a lot of trainings. I have a contract with Southern California Edison, the utility here in Southern California, and I do a lot of trainings on negotiation and effective communication for them. It's fine, but when I'm doing the other things I'm doing, I need an actual studio. So I'm looking forward to having that, having a showroom, having a place to set up shipping, to get more wholesale customers. It's something that's going to move my business forward. So prepare in advance. That's a very important strategy that you need to consider. Next thing I want to share with you is the importance of building relationships first. Build relationships first. And we hear this a lot. We're in a relationship economy. A good friend of mine, Glenn Morshower, I took some acting classes from to get better at speaking many years ago. He says relationships are the most spendable economy in the world, the most spendable capital in the world. Relationships are the most spendable capital in the world. If you have good relationships that you have cultivated with people, you can definitely go far with that. And take the time to actually build connections. It's very hard these days. A lot of it's a numbers game, and people are, I don't know about you, but I get almost everybody that connects with me on LinkedIn goes right to a pitch. Oh, I saw one line in your profile and you'd be perfect for this. And I love I had somebody who said, oh, I've been watching your content. I really like to connect. I verified it was a real person, because there's a lot of those who are fakes. So it was a real person. Connected with them. They said, oh, I think you'd be perfect for our group. Okay, we haven't even had a conversation. Now you're pitching me to go to your group. And I looked at the group, and it was about people who are living a very unhealthy lifestyle and need to lose weight. And I'm like, okay, maybe I could lose 5 pounds, but yeah, not sure about that. I also had a guy one time ask me if I wanted to lose 2 belt sizes. If I lost 2 belt sizes, I would probably look like a pencil. That you have to consider your market and actually reach out and connect with somebody. And it's hard to meet in person, especially if you're in a different location, but do something like this. Get on a video call and connect with them, and actually have a conversation to find out if they are your target market. Nobody likes to be pitched to anymore. We would like to actually, if I'm going to purchase something from somebody, I will ask other people for a trusted referral. I'm not going to buy something off of somebody that got my email address and added me to an email list and is pitching me on a product or service. If I'm looking for a product or service, I'm going to ask one of my trusted business colleagues, who do you use for this? Who do you use for that? Or I see you're friends with this person. Would you recommend them for business, or would you recommend them for this? That's the best way to connect with somebody that you already have a relationship with. So if you want to do business and build that know, like, and trust factor, it's very important to build relationships first. Our next strategy is probably the foundational principle of how to think like a negotiator. Ask for exactly what I want. Ask for exactly what I want. Also known as get your ask in gear. You're not going to get what you don't ask for. And that's where people have their fear of negotiation. They don't ask. Wayne Gretzky said, you're going to miss 100% of the shots that you do not take. Take the risk. Take the shot at asking for what you want. All they can say is no. Rejection's never personal. That's why people don't ask, because they're afraid of the no. But rejection's never personal. It's not about you. It's more about them. They may need more information. They may need more time, or the answer may actually be no. But you don't know unless you ask. You're not going to know unless you ask. I'll share a quick story with you about how asking changed the entire trajectory of my life. I went on a mission trip with a group in 2018 called Reaching Beyond Ourselves to Kenya. I had met the founder at one of the events where I was speaking, and he and I shared, and he'd been going to Kenya for over 20 years. And I felt this pull to go to Kenya. Well, at that time, didn't have a lot of income. And I thought, okay, I'm going to do a GoFundMe type thing and raise some funds. And I told my veterans group at church, and I asked one person, and they gave me a donation. And then I got me, the Think Like a Negotiator queen, got in fear of asking, and I did not ask. And the people planning the trip needed my funds to book the accommodation. And I said, I'm probably not going to go. I haven't raised enough money. And they told me to have faith, it'll work out. And right after that, the person who made the initial donation, and the only donation, called and said, Eldonna, I'm going to help you raise the funds to go on this trip. When I hung up the phone, I thought, I'm going to get my own ask in gear and ask for exactly what I want now. I made a commitment to reach out to 5 people a day and ask for $20. First person donated $200. Before I knew it, I had more than enough money, so much so that I filled a duffel bag full of socks and underwear for kids in Kenya. Made the trip to Kenya. It was a wonderful experience. One of the last places we visited was the Kipsongo slum, where these ladies were making paper bead jewelry. And one of them gave me a necklace, much like the one I'm wearing, and asked for sponsorship for her son to go to school. Woke up in the middle of the night after meeting them, and I had found out on the way back that they were starting to work little micro enterprises, and had this God-inspired idea to buy some beads and sell them with my book when I was speaking. Brought back half a suitcase of beads. And that was in February 2018, spoke at an International Women's Day event, sold out, doubled the orders, sold out, tripled the orders, sold out, and then went on more trips and more suitcases came back. I've been to Kenya 7 times. We went from 5 to 30 women, and now I have a warehouse full of products. We actually have a tailoring group within our group. A lot of these women have left prostitution. Now we have another group of women we're working with and starting a farm, and it's growing, and who knows where it'll go from here. Heading back to Kenya in May, June this year. What if I wouldn't have asked? Those women would still be prostituting themselves, and many of them were picking food scraps from a dumpster or selling illegal alcohol. If I hadn't have asked, these women would not have the opportunity to change their lives. My question to you is, what opportunities are you missing because you're not asking for exactly what you want? On the other side of fear is the opportunity to change lives. Not only will you change the lives of those that you're serving, you'll also change your own life. So get your ask in gear and ask for exactly what you want now. And I'm coming close to the end of my time, and my last strategy is to stop talking. You hear that uncomfortable silence? If you can get comfortable with the discomfort of silence, it is one of the most powerful and effective tools you can use in negotiation. If you really want to own your power, learn how to leverage the power of the pause. Today, I've shared with you several strategies that will help you not only be a better negotiator in business, but in your day-to-day life. I suggest you take these strategies. I hope you took copious notes and that you apply them going forward in business. Make sure that you own your power, that you prepare in advance, and build relationships first. Ask for exactly what you want and stop talking. And with that, I'll now stop talking and remind you to keep thinking like a negotiator.
That is an awesome topic. Thank you for your talk, and start thinking like a negotiator. How does somebody go about getting in touch with you, Eldonna?
You can find me on Facebook. Eldonna Fernandez is my Facebook profile. I'm available. My speaker website is eldonnafernandez.com. My Baskets and Beads website is basketsandbeadskenya.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for
Thanks for having
being
me
here and being a part of this wonderful event today. Thank you.
Awesome sauce.
Thank you.